Yo, good morning, guys. It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard, driving to work right now. I'm going to do a quick live stream. So, yesterday, some of you guys probably saw the video that I put up. I had gone out to a shooting range here in town and had a little incident. So, two things. Number one, it's not uncommon to deal with passive-aggressive behavior. Now, I kind of hesitated to put the video up at first because I knew that this was the direction that this was going to go, right? We're in a time where everyone is a victim. We're in a time where everyone is complaining about something. We're in a time where everybody's overly sensitive. We're in a time where everybody's feelings get hurt. So, generally, if you point something out that falls into that category, you're not going to get sympathy, number one. Number two, most people, when it comes to the discussion or the conversation about race, about racism, it becomes a situation where you have to justify why you're angry or upset about something. So I took the video and I put it on private mode for two reasons. Number one, I don't want that conversation to be a large part of my channel. I want to make sure that we stick to the important issues that we created this space for. Okay? But number two, that is something that we have to discuss, especially when it involves the 2A community. So, without getting into the issue that happened yesterday, it did make me think about something. The situation and the reaction falls right in line with a very important topic that we need to discuss in the security community, and that's controlling your emotions. Somebody made a comment on the video, and they said, if this person said this to you, you didn't react. And my response was, how should I have reacted? In that situation, we are in an area where everybody that's in the vicinity is armed. There's been a disagreement. There's been a disrespect. And clearly, at that time, the two people that I was dealing with were not acting in good faith. They're not being responsible, because most people, even some people who commented on the video, are like, man, you generally see people kind of on their best behavior attitude-wise because they recognize the situation that everybody that's there is armed. Guys, when you're working in security, when you're going through your life, the quickest way to wind up in jail, prison, or a graveyard is to find yourself in a battle of egos or a battle of principles with people who can't read the room. That is a clear indication that someone either doesn't give a fuck or isn't wrapped too tight. Because the average person does look at that situation and say, this isn't the time. This isn't the place. In security, I want us to take a cue from that situation of not reacting. Now, there's going to be situations that you have to respond to. And when we're having this conversation right now, I'm talking more about those personal digs, those personal slights, that disrespect, the microaggression, the rudeness. And guys, we're approaching the holiday season. God knows what's going to happen in terms of COVID, potentially bringing back mask mandates. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of this war. There's so much potential for the stress environment to continue to go up, for people to become more and more aggressive and rude in their relation and their response to us. And so what I want you guys to do is take stock on how you respond to these microaggressions and this disrespect that you are going to get insecurity even on the best day. Under perfect circumstances, someone's going to disrespect you. Under perfect circumstances, someone's going to call you out of your name. Under perfect circumstances, someone's going to test you, try you, threaten you. How do you respond to that? Because if your thought process is, it's not going to be me, I'm not going to stand for it, I'm not going to take this shit, and you choose to give the same energy that you're receiving, especially when you're armed, that can end up really bad for you. I want you guys to think about that question. That's the way that you responded? You didn't respond? You didn't do anything? When I did my interview with the Echelon security guard, Michael Bach, he was talking about the difference between law enforcement and security. I'd asked him why, with his extensive background, he had chosen to not stay in law enforcement, to pursue that job in law enforcement. He said something that I thought was very important. He said, you know, I noticed in law enforcement that they always had to win. When there was a situation where there was an ego battle, they had to win. When there was a situation where they wanted someone to do something or respond a certain way, they had to win. He goes, in security, I don't have to win. I can leave. I can back off. I can stand down. Sometimes the best way to get that homeless person, to get that drug addict, to get that person that has absolutely nothing to lose and is willing to do anything and everything to either ruin your day or take your life, sometimes the best way to get them to comply is for me to back off. I don't have to win. The hardest lesson for me to learn in my 45 years of life is that I don't have to win. I have lost a lot in life fighting to win. The argument, the point, the principle, everything, guys. It's important to be able to know when you have to step up and defend your honor, when you have to step up and to defend your principles, but you have to also know when to let the ego slide and not allow you to respond in a way that is going to be detrimental to everybody. That's the thought for today, guys. How do you go through your day, be effective, be efficient, focus on the task at hand, do your job, provide for your family, without allowing yourself to get triggered and placed into a situation where you overreact? But at the same time, there's a second side to this equation. How do you keep that negativity from seeping in? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I let it seep in. When I go to work every single day, and when I tell you guys, I'm not exaggerating this. Every single day that I go to work in the environment that I work in, someone calls me a nigger. It's not a word that triggers me and makes me emotional. Guys, I grew up in Arkansas. My parents were raised under Jim Crow. It's not something that affects me. It's not something that, you know, it makes me emotional. But it tends to be a situation where in its place, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at work. It doesn't bother me when I'm in Arkansas. It doesn't bother me in certain contexts. For someone who has been instrumental in trying to fight for gun rights here in Oregon, someone who takes great pride in the fact that I have been at the tip of the spear to advocating for people's personal protection, someone who has pushed and worked very hard over the past 2 years to be a voice in this community, I wasn't expecting it in that environment. And I wasn't expecting to have to try and defend whether or not it happened or how I responded to it. So the second part of the equation is, how do you go through your day, take the microaggression, take the disrespect, and not allow it to affect you? Because it's one thing to not respond to it. It's one thing to not let it trigger you and to get overly aggressive in how you respond. It's another thing to not allow it to seep in and ruin your day. And I wasn't able to do that yesterday. It really fucked up my day for a lot of different reasons. I don't have an answer for that other than the fact that we can't allow it to take us off our square. Things still have to be done. Work has to be done. Family members deserve attention. Live streams have to be made. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts this morning. I thought it was important to kind of point out how that situation is not specific to just me at the gun range. We deal with that on a daily basis. And we have to be able to address it properly and put it in its proper place. So, as you go through your day today, be safe. Watch your back, watch your six. Do your best to not allow yourself to get triggered. Avoid ego battles. And I know it's difficult, but try your best to let the dirt and the grime and the bullshit slide off of you today. Don't internalize it. And I'm telling you guys that because I'm also telling myself that. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you're safe. Look forward to talking to you guys on the next stream, the next video. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep building. You guys go out there today and do your absolute best. You kick ass. All right? You guys be great.